The two tribes in the south were Judah and Ephraim. Judah is where we get the expression Jew, because the Y, there's no J sound in Hebrew. So when we say this person's from the tribe of Judah, he's from the tribe of Judah, which were those southern tribes in the kingdom of Israel. The northern tribes, when the first invasion took place, were carried off into captivity. And most of them have been dispersed throughout the earth. Few children of Israel know their exact lineage because the record-keeping station where they would keep their lineages was destroyed by successive invasions. There are some people, particularly the Israelites from Yemen and those from Iraq, that are able to trace their lineage. And when you actually check their alleles, and because every race has certain alleles that delineate their blood type, their genetic peculiarities, and other things that necessitate what race they are from. And by looking at the Yemenis, you can see, by examining the wavy hair, the very tall, lank features, their arms appear to be short for their body, the eyes with the epicanthic eye folds on the bottom and the top. These are clear signs of Hebrew characteristics that show these people are Hebrews. And this can be demonstrated by looking at other nations' depictions of Hebrews coming into the land. You can see pictures on pyramids of the Hebrews coming into Egypt to trade. And you see they're tall, their arms look short for their body, epicanthic eye folds on the bottom and the top. All the signs that you can say, yes, this person is definitely a Hebrew. And then when you look at the Arabs, the actual historical Arabs, you generally see tall, brown, right, thickly sunken eyes, the collagen displacement on the top lip, so the top lip is a darker color than the other one, right? Generally, they have an overbite. All these things that you see, the epicanthic eye folds on the tops, when the eyes shut, they don't fully look shut. There's like a slit at the bottom. All these things that you look at that are genetic, what you would look at as peculiarities that show what race one belongs to and their blood type. And the same thing is for Chinese people. The flattened face, the recess in the cheekbones. They don't have heavy cheekbone definition, right? The sunken eyes, right? The heart-shaped mouth. All these things where you'd say, okay, these are typical phenotypic Chinese characteristics and peculiarities. And Japanese people have them, and Vietnamese people have them, and people that are from other places, they all have these phenotypic characteristics. And so when these tribes were carried away, they left behind two, Ephraim and Judah. And because of Judah's significance later, it became the most powerful tribe. And when people referred to the religion of the children of Israel, the religion of the children of Israel was not given a name until 200 BC, in which it was called Yehudiot, which means the religion of the Jews, the religion of the people of Judah. Prior to then, the religion had no name. But when the religion picked up a name, it also picked up the Talmud, the Mishnah, the Gemara, all these strange traditions that we see. So before they were called Yehudiot, what was the religion of the children of Israel is the common question. What was their religion? Because prior to then, you could not have called someone from the tribe of Issachar Yehudiot because he wasn't from Judah. You couldn't have called someone who was from the tribe of Dan Yehudiot because he wasn't from Judah. And they were only called Judah because when the Romans arrived, they found that this was who was the main tribe. So they referred to it as the religion of Judah. All right, and those 12 tribes are spread out today in different locations throughout the world. Some people know, some children of Israel can tell you, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin. Some can tell you that I'm from the tribe of Issachar. Some can tell you, I'm from the tribe of such and such. When the state of Israel became a reality in 1948, fulfilling some 4 ahadith and prophecy, there all of a sudden began this massive effort, mainly assisted by Jews from Yemen, Iraq, specifically Baghdad, and North Africa, to help Jews that had come from Europe find their lineage, if they had any at all, to any Hebrew stock. And some of what the Hebrew people from the Middle East found is that a good portion of Jews that had come from Europe were Jews by their religious affiliation, but were not Hebrews racially. So they were certainly Jewish, but they were not Hebrews, which obviously they rejected that because they had the assumption that we're all Hebrews. No, you're not. A significant portion of you are coming from Slavic roots, and you are not Hebrews. And then there was a massive scientific study. So the children of Israel, when we're talking about Israelites, there is the children of Israel when we're talking about Israelites as a people. And then there is Judaism or Jews when we're talking about the religion. In English, they often don't make the distinction. So when you say, well, what do you think about Jews? Or what have these people said about Jews? You have to be very particular. Allah in the Qur'an has never said a disparaging word against Hebrews. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has disparaged and rejected Judaism and Jews, meaning the religion of these people. Just like Allah has never said a bad thing about Greeks, but He has rejected Christianity and Christians. You must make this distinction. The side curls of the Jewish man have nothing to do with the kufr that he's doing. So it shouldn't be in our business to make fun of them and say, oh, look at their side curls, or look at the hats, look at the strimmel that he's wearing. Oh, this looks silly. It's nothing to do with any of that. The whole point of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rejection, it has to do with the false religion that they have. And so these 12 tribes are spread out. Next week, inshallah, the 12 tribes come up again, and we'll name them, inshallah, and we'll have to discuss them slightly. Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi, rahimahullah, he then says after this, quote, and the Exalted One has said, وَإِذْ قُلْتُمْ يَا مُوسَى لَن نَّصْبِرَ عَلَى طَعَامٍ وَاحِدٍ فَادْعُ لَنَا رَبَّكَ يُخْرِجْ لَنَا مِمَّا تُنبِتُ الْأَرْضُ مِن بَقْلِهَا وَقِثَّائِهَا وَفُومِهَا وَعَدَسِهَا وَبَصَلِهَا قال أتستبدلون الذي هو أدنى بالذي هو خير اهبطوا مصرا فإن لكم ما سألتم وضربت عليهم الذلة والمسكنة وباءوا بغضب من الله ذلك بأنهم كانوا يكفرون بآيات الله ويقتلون النبيين بغير الحق ذلك بما عصوا وكانوا يعتدون. And when you said, Musa, we will never be patient with just one food. Call on your Lord, so that He might cause to germinate for us from out of the earth, from its herbs, its garlic, its leeks, its lentils, and its onions. He said, are you seeking to replace that which is near to you with that which is better? Go down to Misr. Indeed, you shall have what you ask for. And so disgrace and rebellion were stamped upon them. And they received the wrath from Allah. That is because they disbelieved in the signs of Allah. And on the count of that, they disbelieved in the signs of Allah and killed the prophets without right. That is because they disobeyed and they were transgressing. This statement is a general one. What's meant by one food is the manna and the salwa. Muhammad ibn al-Qasim stated that the manna was eaten along with the salwa, so it was consumed as a meal, and the salwa with the manna. And because of this, it was classified as one food. Now the baqal here is referring to one particular type of herbage that they have taken. And in this context, it's used as the plural. So the people went and looked at the baqal, or these herbs, and wanted to eat from these herbs like one would eat basil. This is what people tend to eat exclusively, to the exclusion of animals, because they find taste in it, and it is used for eating and cooking. Baqal is often a grassy substance, often referred to as basil. It grows in shoots of 4. Sometimes both people and animals eat it, but in general it is people. It grows in the earth and shoots out in groups of 4. Close quote. Now, so this is telling you about then the foods that they're going to ask about, inshallah. The first is what we're talking about, the herbs like basil. All right, the herbage from the earth, grassy 4-shoot grasses that are coming out. They want these. Imam Ibn Al-Jawzi, rahimahullah, he says, quote, as for the qitha, it can be said as qitha or qutha. However, the expression qitha is the more well known, because this is the way of recitation of the vast majority. Ibn Mas'ud, Abu Raja, Qatada, Talha ibn Musarraf, and Al-A'mash recited qutha. As for Al-Farra, he recites it as qitha. And qutha, this recitation is known a lot from the people of Tamim in Yemen and some of the Bani Asad. As for Foom, Foom has 3 points regarding it. One is that it is the strong scented colocynth type plant referred to by Ibn Abbas and As-Sudai from his sheikhs and Al-Hasan and Abu Malik. Al-Farra says that this is an old way of pronunciation. Secondly is that it also is referring to the leek itself, or the plant itself. And sometimes in Arabic, things can be pronounced with a fa or a tha, and it means the same thing. So in some recitations, some will say fumiha, but some will say thumiha. However, the most widely received is fumiha. Now this has been mentioned, and sometimes emphasis is used by pronouncing something with a fa rather than a tha, because fa is a stronger sound. So the Arabs will sometimes refer to a grave of a mighty one as jadaf rather than jadaf, to stress that someone more important is buried therein. Often furniture is called al-uthafi, but sometimes it's called al-uthafi. And this is also a word for the rocks which are placed under one or under an item. A dye and a scent is sometimes called mughafir and sometimes called mughathir. And all of this is the statement of Mujahid and Al-Rabi' ibn Anas, Muqatil, Al-Kasai, and Nadr ibn Shumayl, and Ibn Qutaybah. This is also referring to the seeds and the other things. As for the lentils and the onions, this is all clearly understood in the speech that has been given. When the Exalted One says that Musa alayhi salam said, are you seeking that which is near, meaning that which is low, with that which is better, meaning that which is more exalted? He was referring to the manna and salwa in this context, because it is the highest and most noble of what one could seek. Close quote. So when the Imam is referring to these things, he's saying that they're asking for the herbs of the earth, its leeks, its garlic, its lentils, It's onions.